Hello, Lansing, Kalamazoo, and Ann Arbor. All you Michiganders, my friends at Bet Parks have you covered in Michigan with the Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. All your favorite casino games that you can take on the go. Odds and slots and bets and games, all in the palm of your hand. The Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app, the only app I recommend in Michigan. New users, join me now. Get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're not a winner in the first 24 hours. Roulette, Baccarat, Texas Hold'em, all that kind of good stuff from the comfort of your home. New users, get up $1,000 casino bonus back if you're not a winner in the first 24 hours. The Play Gun Lake Casino and Sportsbook app. Your time to play. New users only. Casino bonus has to be wagered. Terms and conditions apply. See the website at playgunlake.com for all the details. Got to be 21 and in Michigan. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Time now for more headlines from Smerconish.com, the newsletter. Chris Christie did not like yesterday's poll question. Neither did many of you. I acknowledged on air yesterday that it was poorly drafted.
Yes, you did. And then you said, but I'm going to keep it the way it is.
But I'm going to keep it.
That's right.
Because I think you understood where I was going.
Right.
It all had to do with the motivation of Chris Christie.
The gist of it.
The poor wording by the host of the program was as follows. Is Chris Christie running because he wants to knock out Trump or because he thinks he can win? 2/3 said knock out Trump. That was 22,103 who voted. Christie's beef was they're not mutually exclusive. I think I can knock him out, and I think I can win. Well, I'll say this. Chris Christie is that much closer to his goal today now that we know that Donald Trump received a target letter. Notice the wording of today's poll question, because it was very deliberate on my part. I didn't say would. I said will. Will an indictment of Donald Trump for obstruction of justice have the same political impact as the indictment in the Stormy Daniels case? I didn't say would, like, hey, if this happens. I said will it, as in it's happening.
It's happening.
He's received a target letter. There's no way he gets a target letter and doesn't get indicted.
Okay.
He's getting indicted.
And so as we've discussed, when you say that, the same impact, you're saying basically nothing. Politically, it was maybe good for him.
Last time.
So what do you think?
Last time.
Okay, but what do you think now?
Different.
Yeah, interesting.
This is different. And look, I've talked about this ad nauseum on air, on CNN as well, laying out the scenarios, asking the question, why are they all getting in the race? Why are there, 10 people on that stage now? What do they see that is not borne out in the numbers where he's at 50%, has plenty of money, organizational support? They see this. They see this. They believe, and no Mediaite, it's not that I believe he's led away in cuffs, at least not before Election Day 2024. I'm arguing that the weight of all of this, if Jack Smith indicts for obstruction of justice, as I believe he will, it makes it that much easier for Fani Willis, the Fulton County DA, to then do likewise relative to the perfect phone call and interference in Georgia. So it's not just Stormy Daniels, an indictment based on sex and a payoff and Michael Cohen. Now it's the weight of the federal government through Merrick Garland because of Jack Smith, and it's Fani Willis. It's just a lot. And at what point can he manage against all of this? And at what point do Republicans not say, hey, wait, I've got 10 different choices on that stage. Why am I wedded to him? Let me go with Trump light.
And this is what you've been saying for now 2 weeks, whenever DeSantis got in officially, and then people started coming in and the water started being really warm. You're like, what do they know? What do they think they know?
Right.
And here it is.
Yeah. And now, again, I have a pretty clean record of being almost always wrong about Donald Trump. He'll never run. He's never staying in.
He said our next president?
He said, what about John McCain? He said, grab him by the what?
Right.
He's done.
Done.
Okay, so.
Done. Maybe that means we should it's like opposite day on Seinfeld. Whatever you say about Trump, just switch it on around.
I do believe this is different. This just has a different. No, not this second. I've been believing this, that the weight of these indictments were going to be crippling to him politically. But I leave open the opportunity. It's what I'm asking in the poll question. I mean, is this going to be the same as Stormy Daniels? Stormy Daniels was of benefit. My version of that is because people recognize the gymnastics that Alvin Bragg had to go through to elevate that case to a felony. It was about sex. It was 7 years old. Like, come on. We learned on the Clinton watch in the 90s. People don't want a president or a former president taken down for a matter that at its root is of a sexual nature. Oh, Michael, it's not about sex. It's misclassification of business records. Yeah, I hear you. It's about sex.
Oh, boy.
Okay? So that one didn't do it. But this is going to be big. And look, TC, I have been saying, Mark has been saying, maybe in the end it is neither of them. Karl Rove has a good piece in the Wall Street Journal. Biden and Trump could both lose in 2024.
Wouldn't that be something?
He talks about how, the numbers always shift so much, in particular with regard to Iowa. Uses some historical analysis about upset victories in 2008, 2012, 2016.
Is there someone that he points to?
He says, for example, that Huckabee was at 3% in May of 2007. Then he was at 27% in November, ends up winning the caucus with 34%, meaning came out of nowhere. Rick Santorum.
Oh, yes.
Was at 4% in the Iowa poll in June of 2011. That would be like where we are now. Then he was at 6%, ends up winning the caucus with 25%. Tells a similar story about Ted Cruz. Then he looks at Biden's numbers. And he says 65% to 32%. Registered voters think that Biden is too old to effectively serve another 4-year term. And Karl Rove correctly frames this. What's going to get better about those numbers? That's a really good framing. If the Biden problem in the minds of many voters is age, you can't turn that around.
It's only going to get worse.
You can't turn that around.
It's only going to get worse.
It's not like the economy's shitty.
No.
The economy gets better.
No. That train is just going to keep rolling.
It's going to start sprinting?
Yeah. No.
Not going to happen.
No. Definitely not. Wow.
So he sort of torpedoes Trump, and then he torpedoes Biden, and here's his conclusion. Mr. Biden could still win re-election, especially if Mr. Trump is the Republican nominee. But he's probably the only serious Democrat who could lose to Mr. Trump. Too many voters see Biden as too old and weak. Democrats ignore that real possibility at their peril. So there's that. Mark Halpern today in the Wide World of News also addresses a lot of these same considerations, and I recommend you check out his Wide World of News. Headline, what happens to the presidential race if Jack Smith indicts Donald Trump? I'll just give you one paragraph from Mark. He says, the mood music of the current news cycle, coupled with the spidey sense of those with spidey sense, leads to a feeling that this time, this case, just might be fundamentally different. Well, that's what I'm asking in the poll question today at Smerconish.com.
Is it going to be DeSantis Haley versus Harris Kennedy?
Which of those is more unlikely? DeSantis Haley. DeSantis, I'm not sure that Ron DeSantis is secure in the second position. And I'm convinced that Kamala Harris is never going to have as a running mate RFK Jr.
Okay, so
that's not going to happen.
Okay, so DeSantis. Wait, you think DeSantis would want first position, right? That's what I'm saying.
No. Ron, when I said secure in his second position, I don't think
Oh, he doesn't want Haley.
No. I'm not being clear. I don't think he is the secure number 2 to Donald Trump.
All right.
Trump may falter for all the reasons I just summarized. Right. That doesn't mean it's DeSantis's.
Okay, how about Christy Haley versus Newsom Kennedy?
I can't see someone taking RFK Jr. as a running mate.
Okay.
I can't. I'm going to rule out all of those.
Okay.
How about those prospects?
How about Christy Haley versus Buttigieg Newsom?
it's funny how you're talking about Christie. I mean, do you really think that Chris Christie this time around is going to have something that...
No. I'm just, for the sake of arguing.
For having fun.
He it's not going to be Pence.
Right. There's something that I would like to do.
Okay.
No, it's not going to be Pence.
It's not going to be Pence.
It's not going to be Pence. Whenever I watched his announcement yesterday, I look at someone seeking to play a role, seeking to go out and emulate Ronald Reagan. It's like he's being told backstage.
And he says it.
Okay, now you're going to go out there and act as Reagan-esque as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Say things that sound like they were written for the history.
He reminds me,
come off as authentic.
It
just doesn't come off.
Years and years ago when we were on WPHT, there was a guest host that you were gone for a day, and their guest host came in.
Right.
And I was very new to radio and didn't understand these things. And his entire personality changed as soon as the on-air light went on. His voice changed, his mannerisms changed. He got like all kind of snarly and prickly, and it was just jarring.
In other words, was he like a nice and warm person?
Yeah, he was normal
until the light went on.
Exactly. And I feel like Pence does that, I think, for cameras.
You don't think that's the way he is around the house?
Well, Mother?
I think he's completely that way. I
Okay,
think
then he's not playing a role.
No, I think he's playing the role 24/7.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That is what I'm thinking. Who knows what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
Check out the exclusive content today from Dr. Scott Jackson, a PhD, From the People, For the People, a proposed referendum on gun control. More headlines now from Smerconish.com, the daily newsletter. I trust you are a subscriber, and I thank you for that. It's free, and it's worthy. I mean, the mixture of stories today. By the way, I had to be a homer today in the newsletter.
For 2 reasons.
I had to, for 2 reasons, right. So, headline, Mike Sealski from the Philadelphia Inquirer wrote this.
I really enjoy his work.
Me too. Hours before Aaron Nola flirted with a no-hitter, Phillies pitcher came close, didn't get it, a kid from CB West was perfect in all the best ways. So, my alma mater, high schooler, senior, wait till you hear where he's headed next, had a perfect game.
Yep.
Had a perfect game. And Mike Sealski writes a really nice column about, the environment, he out with his buddies. And
I really want to try to say his name to honor him.
I think I can.
Can you?
I think I can.
Julio, we'll start with that.
I'm going to go with Urmajadi.
Urmajadi?
Julio Urmajadi.
All right. I'll take it.
I think.
I'll take it.
Julio
My favorite part
Urmajadi.
of that was that when he was a sophomore at CB West, Mike Sealski describes him as 5'4" and scrawny.
Yep.
And so he did what he was so motivated that he hit the weight room and, thankfully, he says, grew. And as a senior, now listen to this description, now 5'8" with the kind of thick-legged lower body that allows a pitcher to surge off the mound and generate velocity. He hasn't lost a game this season, has a fastball that touches 89 miles per hour and averages 1.5 strikeouts an inning. Would you like to read the next line?
And the next line says he's heading to Lehigh University this fall to pitch for the Mountain Hawks and study computer science.
Congratulations.
Isn't that pretty neat?
What a great piece. I love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Really great story. So enjoy that. How about this one, TC? Judge orders. All these headlines are at Smerconish.com. Yep. We've got the front pages covered, but we also have the stuff that you might otherwise miss, such as this. Judge orders D.C. man to stop smoking medical weed at his home after a neighbor sues over the smell. I mean, I get it. The smell does linger. I happen to like the smell. Brings back fond memories and concerts. And so, yeah. Man, to be in New York City, as I have been on several occasions recently, it's just like weed everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Everywhere.
Emma lives in Brooklyn, and walking around Park Slope is just like one big contact secondhand high. I mean, it's incredible.
Right. What did you make of this story?
It's like the haze outside. You just don't know what's going on. Well, interestingly, I mean, I kind of understand it. I mean, am I more sympathetic because it's medical marijuana? Yes. But any kind of smoke or cooking fumes or whatever it is, you're sharing walls, they're going to go through there. You're going to be aware of that. And I know, I live now in a non-smoking building. coincidentally, just yesterday, got an email from the management saying, just a reminder, no smoking allowed anywhere, especially those on the third floor. I'm like, well, what's going on? I don't know.
What's going on the third floor?
And they reminded
Go hang out with the people on the third floor.
But by the way, vaping counts as well. Isn't that interesting? They said no vaping, no smoking of any kind, and listed everything. I'm sure it's weed.
Has to be.
Has to be weed.
Vaping dissipates very quickly.
Evidently not. They reminded people.
Look.
What do you think of this?
Okay, first of all, the guy smokes out on his patio so as to abide by a no smoking clause in the lease. I'm sympathetic to the neighbor. As a smoker, I'm nevertheless sympathetic to the neighbor.
I mean, I'm not a smoker, and I'm sympathetic to both of them. I get, like, I'm sympathetic to the guy who wants medical marijuana because that's his medicine.
Right.
I don't know what you do.
Right.
I guess you could go to a facility, or like, what do you do?
There are just so few places where
you're allowed to smoke anymore.
It's like a leper colony. Whatever you see
when we used to fly.
Yeah.
And the last 3 rows or something were as though
it's
that
crazy.
wasn't going to. Like
it's crazy
right now
to
when
think.
you think about it.
Right. Oh, no, that's
and you would go to the bathroom and you would like go through the smoke like this. Like
I know. To tell that to kids today,
blows their mind. Like, what?
There was a smoking section of the airplane?
Yeah, like the last 3 or 4 rows.
In my life, I smoked a cigar on an Amtrak train bound for Washington. I did.
Okay,
I did.
I must say, a smoking car.
That was in the early 90s.
A smoking car has some.
Smoking car.
Well, that at least is self-contained.
But still,
the idea section of an airplane.
I know. But the idea that I smoked a cigar on an Amtrak train.
But that's kind of fun. I
it's
kind of approve of that.
Though. It's just crazy. Could you imagine if you walked onto like an Acela and I'm sitting there having a cigar and just...
One of my favorite things when we do a remote broadcast and you're in your bunker.
I'm embarrassed by that, by the way, now.
Hysterical. And we're all on Zoom and it's like, 9 o'clock in the morning and you're firing up and you're like the happiest person. It's amazing.
And there's this from Smerconish.com. For $250,000, you can live under a bridge in Alhambra inside the home that has the internet talking. Getting into the housing market in Southern California can be both daunting and confusing. If sticker shock doesn't scare you off, finding a property that fits your lifestyle can be even harder to come by. With Los Angeles and the surrounding communities experiencing some of the highest housing prices in the nation, many first-time home buyers looking for something affordable that won't be a money sink, and it offers a little bit of charm. Well, even better, a recently listed property in the San Gabriel Valley appears to check all those boxes. 1-bedroom, 1-bath home in Alhambra has captured the attention of buyers across the country. The realtor tasked with selling the property, hoping to strike a balance between an affordable starter and a fixer-upper. But the property is truly unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Okay, so it's literally on an overpass above, they call it a wash. What is that water? Is it dirty water that's running underneath it? That was my only concern, because I think there's great potential in this house.
Really?
I do.
You think there's a future in these type of properties?
I think there's a future in this. I think it could be really neat. It definitely needs some work. The sort of, quote, rooftop is actually at street level, but can you imagine like twinkle lights and putting chairs out there, a little cafe table? Yeah, so fun. I think there's potential in this house. You got to go look at it online, though.
Look at it in Smerconish.com.
Yeah.
I did a story on CNN months ago before any of us had ever heard of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Talking about deepfakes, and I remember, I think Paris Hilton and Tom Cruise in a video
having
that was
cereal.
fake. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to be able to say, hey, look at the future.
Right.
We're not going to be able to distinguish fact from
Here
fiction.
they are having a bowl of cereal.
Okay, well, how about this story at Smerconish.com today? Scammers can turn your profile picture into a deep fake porn and then blackmail you.
Geez.
If your social... This cuts both ways, though. I want to make this one observation. If your social media photos, including your profile picture, are visible to the public, it might be a time to check your privacy settings. That's because the FBI has issued an alert about cyber criminals turning innocent victims' profile pictures into deep fake porn and then using the images to blackmail. Here's what it made me think of.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
There's no way you would know what I'm about to say.
You're about to say that if you actually had a picture of yourself in a pornographic way, you could say, oh no, that's not me. That's deepfake.
That is what I'm about to say.
Yay!
But with an example.
Whoa.
So,
but Michael, you were naked.
No, it's not me.
Oh.
Not me.
Got it.
I think it was the 96 cycle. I think it was the 96 cycle when it was Dole Kemp as the Republican ticket.
Where are you going with this?
The convention that year, I think, double think here now.
Wow.
Was in San Diego. Whatever the year was, there was an expose in like one of the scandal sheets that showed the body, really buff version of Roger Stone with his eyes blacked out, and an ad that he had allegedly reportedly run in a swingers publication announcing that he and his wife were coming to town for the convention and looking for action.
I thought that was real.
This is my point. So Roger said at the time, it's a fake. That's not me, right? And many of us, in our opinions, and maybe we were wrong, many of us said, Roger, of course it's you. Of course it's you, right? At the time, it would be very hard to argue that it was fake. But to your point a moment ago, now you could say,
yeah,
that's not me.
That's not me. Everything's fake.
And how's anybody ever going to prove that it really is you?
Never.
Like, so maybe time has caught up to Roger's defense.
Exactly.
Maybe it wasn't Roger. What do I know?
I thought now he was proud of it. No? He was pretty buff.
Yeah, he may have been.
Right. Now I think he's owning it.
It's really funny. All right. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Go vote. Will Trump's indictment for obstruction of justice politically have the same impact as Stormy Daniels? What's the answer to that? See ya.